Hello, this is your favorite blossoming virgin, Poo Poo Noob, and today I'll be talking about some tips for beginners for the game Battleborn. I think there's currently a sale on Steam about 40%. So there should be some new players into the game, and Battleborn is not a straight up shooter. So this video will be useful for anybody that wants to get into Battleborn or has never played a MOBA style game before, those kind of stuff. So the first tip is use the minimap because this game is a visual clusterfuck. The visual design is kinda. I think they made a mistake with the visual design because it can be quite crazy and busy. Sometimes you just don't know what's happening in front of you, especially if you play a melee character. So use the minimap. So that's very important. This game requires very good field awareness. So it's very important. So using the minimap, you can see where enemies are, where if they are in your range of view, and you can also see where your allies are. So if your allies are, if you have like one person getting ganked, so you can go and help them because you're looking at the minimap. So if you're a melee character, sometimes I play a melee character and I can't see what's happening. Whenever you're in a fight and there's like minions and heroes with their projectiles and shit, it's really very hard to see. So I use the minimap to know where my enemies are, and I just don't stop swinging. So yeah, use the minimap. Trust me, use it. Okay, number 2. It's not a pure shooter like I mentioned before. It has MOBA elements. People say the game is very close to Super Monday Night. Is it Monday Night Combat? Super Monday Night Combat? I never played that game, so I'm not sure what it meant by that. But I'm guessing it's because you can build turrets and stuff. So this game is not a pure shooter. You can't just focus on chasing and killing enemies. You will die. Because a good team will punish you if you chase into their territory. So you have to focus on objectives and the minions. So there are, in PvP there's 3 modes. Capture is the simplest one because there's no minions. It's more of a capture point style kind of game. So you just kind of mode, and then you just stand there, capture the point, and then you rack up points. And that one you only have to fight with the enemy team with no minions. So that one is probably the simplest one to get into. I would say maybe try that out first, just to get a hang of the game, especially in PvP mode. But if you play Incursion or what's the other one, Meltdown, there will be minions, there will be lanes. You have to push your lane, which means you have to kill the enemy minions. So the role that I would say a beginner should play in the beginning. So a role that a beginner should play when they start the game is probably a pusher. So a person that focuses on killing the minions. And a good character to start with is Oscar Mike, because he is a very shootery character. He uses a freaking assault rifle. You don't get as close of a shooter than him. And he has like a grenade. I would highly recommend for you to get the first upgrade, which is on the left, and the second upgrade, which is also on the left. So which lets Oscar Mike shoot a grenade and then leave a fire damage AoE for like 6 seconds. It helps push the minions very, very well. It also helps kill. So that will probably be the easiest role for a beginner to play. So you just have to focus on objectives and the minions. Okay. Number 3. Read about the characters before you use them. Try them out. Okay, you can try them out in a single player campaign or a co-op campaign. I recommend a co-op campaign. Some of the story missions can be quite tough playing it on your own. So I recommend going into PvE to try out a new character that you just unlocked. Sometimes it's very tempting to just keep playing PvP and then just trying out a character on the fly. But I would highly recommend if you try it out on PvE first. Read up on their skills and their talents and their passives, and also read up on the helix which is their leveling up skill tree, which then will improve and change the way your skills work. So yeah, read up and don't go into PvP with a brand new character without knowing anything at all. And a part of this tip is to have a balanced team composition. So if you see your teammates choose an assassin melee character and another person choose a pusher, somebody else chooses a tank, maybe you would want to go with a healer. So a balanced team comp is not, it won't be important 100% of the time. A really good team can be, can play with a non-traditional composition, but if you're new, I would suggest to have a balanced team composition. And it's also a good thing because you want to know at least a couple of characters in each role. So you need to know how to play an assassin, a sniper, a pusher, a tank, and a healer. So have a balanced team composition. Healers would probably is really important, especially when you're starting out. So know your role, which is number 4, I guess. Know your role. What I mean by this is, if you choose a healer, say Miko, don't be focusing on killing minions or enemies. Your number 1 priority should be healing your teammates. There is just too many players out there not understanding how this game works. They will choose Miko and then they will just stand at I play incursion most of the time, so they will stand at this spot where it's considered the sniper camp, because it gives a vantage point and all that, and they just keep shooting from that spot instead of healing us. So that's really, because because Miko is not really, I mean, he can be a pretty good damager, but his number 1 role is to heal. So know your role. If you're playing Oscar Mike, focus on the minions. You can chase. I've had most kills in a few matches as Oscar Mike, but I always focus on the minions first because I know that's my role, that's my job. Without me, the lanes will be pushed and we will lose. So yeah. Tip number 5. I think it's 5. Tip number 5. Shards. They're fucking important. So you will see in the game 2 different sizes of shards. One is the really small one that's on the floor. There's quite a few of them in different points of the map. You can run over them, by the way. You don't have to shoot it. So you run over them, you get a bunch of shards. I think something like 80 to 100. So that one, and that's a really big one which you have to shoot or hit. That one will give you like a couple hundred. And every time you pick up shards, your teammates will also get a bit. I'm not sure what the percentages is, but they won't get 100%. But it is important because shards activate your equipment that you can bring in your loadout, and it also helps you buy buildables, which are turrets and the big minions. So having turrets to defend your point is really, really important. And the minions also help you push. You can only buy one type of minion, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's like a big android robot thing, so it helps to push. So when you see your smaller minions coming on the way, you just buy the big one, and then they can move together. It will help you push, and so shards. And I would say that there's not really a meta for Battleborn right now. I don't know why, but I think because there's no rank mode or competitive mode yet. But I would say that the person who focuses on minions should be the person to get the shards. At least you need to remember to get the shards, because there was one game that my team played very, very well. We played incursion, and in an incursion you have to push your minions up to a sentry bot, and you have to destroy the sentries, and there are 2 sentries each for each team. We destroyed the first sentry within like the first 2 to 5 minutes of the game. We did really well, and then after that, because nobody focused on the shards, I tried to get as much as I could, but because I was the person that's supposed to be the tank slash disruptor. So I needed to be in team fights a lot, and because nobody got the shards, nobody could get turrets up. It was a fucking disaster. So we lost in the end. So the enemy team outnumbered our shards by like 50,000 to our 20,000, something like that. Huge fucking difference. So remember to get the shards. Number 6. Tip number 6 is about fighting in close quarters. So to be fair to the melee assassins, so these melee assassins are really squishy, but they hit really hard when they get near to you. That's just how they balance things out, right? So if you're a healer or a long range guy, you don't want to be in the range of a melee attacker. So what you can do is you can press everybody has a melee button. So this is a separate button. If you're a melee character, you actually also have this button, and this one includes a knockback. So it will actually push the enemy away. A lot of people don't know this for some reason. They never use it. So if you need to get a melee guy out of your away from you, just press the melee button and knock the shit out of him, right? And also in this game, there's collision. What I mean by collision is you cannot run through teammates, you cannot run through enemies, you cannot run through minions. So they can block your path. So remember this. Do not block your teammates that is running away from the enemy, probably because he's dying. So do not block them. They will die. And because there's collision, you can use it to your advantage. If let's say an enemy is really deep into your territory, he fucked up, he made a mistake, he needs to run away, just block his path. Attack him. You can attack him you can shield him from his base and backpedal while you attack him. Very good, especially if you're a melee character. So yeah, that's collision. Remember that. So close quarters in this game can be a bit tough because of the visual clusterfuck, melee characters being annoying as hell and very, very strong, as well as collision. So you really need to get a feel of the game, and I'll probably think it will take you about a few hours to really get a feel, but just do your best. Number 7, I think 7. There's a button for you to teleport back to base. The default button is B, I believe, which is the same as Smite, I think. So why you want to teleport to base? If you're dying, if you have like 50 health left, 50 HP left, no shields, just fucking teleport back to base. It's way better than you dying, because dying in this game is really because this game is more of a MOBA. It has leveling up. It has, like the currency which are shards. There's a chance of a snowball happening. So a team just getting so good that they snowball the enemy. So you dying will help them snowball. So don't snowball, right? So just teleport back to base, unless you have a healing station as well as a healer to heal you. That can be okay. They can heal pretty fast at the same time, and then you can just get back into the action straight away. But going back to base also mean that you can pick up shards along the way when you come back to the front or to the action, which is also important, right? Which goes back to my 5th point about shards being important. So teleporting back to base means you don't die, you get full health, full shields, and you get to pick up shards along the way. So teleport to base. Don't teleport to base if you have like 1,000 health. If you have 1,200 health max and then you only have 1,000 left, you don't really need to teleport to base. But if you know that a couple of hits gonna kill you, then teleport to base. And the last one, number 8. Play the campaign. 2 reasons. One is to get a hang of it. I don't know about you guys, but Battleborn is still not that optimized yet, and the campaign tend to be a bit frame rate shitty for me, because I guess there's a lot of minions to render. But play the campaign because it helps you get a hang of the feel of the game, number 1. But number two, which is just as important, is you get gear when you play the campaign. You do not get gear when you play PvP. Playing in the campaign, there are actually gear in the levels. There are like chests, so which you can pick up. You hit the chest, that chest will open, and then sometimes there will be gear in there. So in PvP, you do not get gear at all. The only way you get gear by just playing PvP is leveling up your account, the command rank, which rewards you with gear. Not all the time, sometimes. So play the campaign because to get a hang of it and to get a bunch of gear. So yeah, gear, I wouldn't say they're super huge game changers unless we're talking about the legendary gears, but it can help you depending on your play style. So I quite like to play Oscar Mike. I quite like to play a character called Galilea. I know a lot of people think she's OP. I think that's why I'm playing her. So she's basically a disruptor kind of character. She's quite tanky, but at the same time, she has a lot of crowd control. So she can like silence people, she can stun, she can... there's multiple ways to play her. So my gear setup with her is a bit on the tankier side, because I feel I already have enough damage. So it just helps with my survivability, stuff like that. Gear can be pretty important in this game. So yeah, that's my tips on Battleborn for you beginners. So I do hope that you guys would like to try this game out. It's pretty cheap right now on Steam. It's 40% off. We do need more people playing this game. I know that most people are playing Overwatch, but I would say if you like Overwatch, there's a chance that you might like this game. It's very different, and yes, I would say Overwatch is the more polished game. But if you like shooters and you always wanted to try a MOBA, but you just feel that it's very not newbie friendly, then I would say Battleborn is a pretty good game to check out. I don't think it will die out. I don't think it will be the next Evolve or a Titanfall. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.